Story of St Rose of Lima. In Lima, Peru, a baby named Isabel Flores was born with rose-colored cheeks, inspiring her mother to call her Rose. She grew up admiring Saint Catherine of Siena and followed her footsteps. Rose made sacrifices as a sign of loving God more than herself. She fasted, eating just a little or none at all during certain days of the week. Rose grew up to be a beautiful lady. Many men dreamed of marrying her. Family and friends wanted Rose to get married, but she refused. She wanted to live her life for Jesus. Rose tried to make herself ugly by cutting her beautiful long hair and rubbing pepper on her face until wounds appeared, but they still liked her. Rose showed how much she loved him by going to the Blessed Sacrament and staying there for hours, just thinking about him and praying quietly. She went to Mass and received communion daily, knowing she was receiving Jesus into her heart. People called her strange because she was the only one who did this in their time. Rose gave her own food away and spent her money to feed people, even though she was hungry. Rose was happy because she understood how the poor felt. A time came when Rose's family did not have enough money for their own needs. She worked in their garden during the day and did a needlework at night. Rose cut flowers from their garden and sold flowers and needlework in the market. She used her earnings to help buy what her family needed and spend the rest to help care for the poor. Rose wanted to become a nun, but her father would not allow it for 10 years. She and her family argued about it, but in the end, Rose's father gave his permission. However, instead of letting her live where the nuns lived, Rose agreed to continue living at home. She turned a little hut in their backyard into a place of prayer. During the day, Rose would work and pray with the nuns. At night, she would go back home to rest. She loved God so deeply that she would sleep for only 2 hours and spend the rest of the night talking to Him in prayer. She wanted so badly to be like Jesus that she made a heavy crown with spikes so that she could experience Jesus' suffering. Rose knew that Jesus made this sacrifice out of His love for sinners. She too wore this crown and prayed to God to consider this a sacrifice for sinners. Rose lived this way for 11 years. She felt great joy in loving God and feeling His love for her. Rose found other ways to show God's love to people. She took in homeless children, the elderly and sick people, and cared for them in one of the rooms in their family home. Sadly, Rose died at the young age of 31. After her death, a man with leprosy prayed to her and was cured. People said that the city of Lima smelled roses when she died. Rose became an inspiration for religious people, sad people with family problems, for embroiderers, gardeners, and florists. Rose became the first American saint. That's the story of St. Rose of the Lima.
So did you like your
Did you like that? There's more stories to come. Like Saint, we will read these 5 to 10 minutes bedtime stories for children by Techi Canyo Lopez with Jewel Villarisco.